Yeah. How's it going, everyone? New live video. I've been doing a few Instagram lives lately. Now, I want to know right now, is the sound sounding all right? Can you hear that note? Because I'm about to do another Destructional video on some scatting. I'm in the car right now. I was just going to go and pick up a hard case for my little Brompton folding bike. I'll do a video on that another time. Now, I need a bit of help from you guys. I think this is a C. Can someone help me? Is that a C? Someone who's near an instrument, hit me up. If that's a C, I'm going to do a very simple vibe. Now, this is, of course, the jazz standard, the composition called Blue Bossa. You might know it. If you play, you might have played it. Now, as soon as someone says, okay, that's a C. Thanks, Alex. Alex Sky, how you doing, brother? It's a bit little sharp, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to call that a C. Now, it's, yeah, I'm going to, some bom bom so da boom da da bo dee bo sing da. That's more, for all purposes, this is, I'm just going to do this as if I'm in concert exact C. I might be somewhere in the cracks, so apologies about this. So far up on so but it's inside from bow. So far up you say better long song bow. But looking bow and eating day you can go so glad it's all boom boom but some Danny. That's the melody. Soft is the soft for do soft. So far up on say you're long so can go. So far up you say that and so can go. But I'm low and slow and bobbing those and die. So we got C minor, boom 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 to the F, boom 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 say, which is an F minor. Then the old D half diminished, from fa fa C C, which is the 5 chord. This is G, of course. It's got a flat 9. You can play do sa be F if you want. And then we go back to C minor, zoom do so. Second section in the song, of course, goes to E flat minor, so for fa. And then it goes to A flat 7, which is do la so they didn't go do a flat 9, that guy. Then of course we go to G flat, C sharp major 7, do so fa C la you can go to die. Then last little turnaround, so don't and D is D half diminished, some low fo fa, some fo so say, which is of course a D. I just sang a D arpeggio, which of course works very nicely over the G chord because it gives you the flat ninth. Do so de say de do da de so. I'll stop breaking it up the whole time and I'll sing the whole bass line down for you. It goes doom boom gang doom boom boom dum dum ding dum dum boom ding dum dum boom dum 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 bum bum dum bum 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 boom bum bum dum ba-doom bo bum do boom dum 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 do dum do bum do some do bum do bum do ba-dum do bum do bum do bum do dum do ba-dum dum ba bum boo dum boo dum bum do say na some da so da do sa da Susan. What I wanted to do is do sa F sharp D C B A flat G, yeah. Some da so funny do so C F M so did I like doing that. That's the 11th. That is on the E flat minor chord. Of course, we know that A flat is the 11th of E flat minor. some do, then because that's cool because you know the next chord's going to be A flat. Some do, so do do la. I always imply that that altered sound, altered scale before I go to that D flat major 7, and then of course we turn around back again onto the 2 chord. Now, why there's so many half diminished in this? The reason is probably, I would say, because when we're going to a minor chord, the 2/5, of course, is a half diminished. If it was going so do se fa se, lo da da sa re, lo da da se re, that's of course arpeggiated notes of D minor, G7, back to C major 7. But when we're going to so da so se, so da so se, so da da so de, so da se so fa, or so da se de se, which is like a minor 6/9, do sa se se. We're of course going to use those half diminished. Now, what scale do you sing over a half diminished? Of course, if it's D half diminished, it's going to be the same notes that are in an F minor melodic minor scale. So the notes are soon, D sa se, soon da se se, which is flat 5. Soon do do so do sa la la say do. Of course, you can also in certain cases sing lo da do so do. That's using the E natural, which is of course. Anyway, don't worry about this crap. You can also sing so la di so do instead of zo sa di so do, lo la di so do, which is the D, E flat, F, G, A flat. You can go D, E, F, G, A flat. Just depends what you're doing. You can do it to taste. It's a little bit like how much salt and pepper do you want. But anyway, I'll push on. I'll slow the tempo down. Say da ni do say ba do la ba do la di do so ba do sa bo bo say la di do so da do so bo say din say ma so go ba bo go do so do do da din so fu bo lu lu ga do gu lan di da so funny so low no so listen up. Now what I'm doing there is I'm hitting that A, which is of course the 13. It's a minor 6th, and that's of course part of the home scale that's going to go behind a minor major sound on C. So if you've got C, you've got the minor 3rd, you got the G, which is the 5th, and then you got the 13 or the 6th, the natural 6th of course, which is A, La, and then of course you got the major 7, A, da, su, da, si, da, si, do, do, so, do, su, de, da, 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 su, da, do, sa, do, se, do, sa, do, fa, do, fa, da, su, de, su, de, su, de, su, de, su, da, fu, da, do, da. So that's your kind of general vibe. You want to hang out on that. Anyway, I'll do it again. Say, de, do, de, sa, ba, do, ba, bengi. Sabarafu se su can go la fa go vai on so de gide su can go se go so. That's the major 7. C de su do so fa da for su do sa. So can go do so glad you side do do so folk can go but side so do can be dead. Say so do da do da bill la bill go there so some folk can go some fire can go some day say they some boss they say that food somebody really can go. You can also hang out on that You and the Night and the Music kind of thing, hanging out on the 5th of the tonic, which is the G, and we go to the A flat, and then we hang around the F sharp as well. We go so da and boo and goo. You can also hang out on that, and when you're going implying that major C major before you go to the 4 chord. You can go so da boo so boo so da boo so boo so go do. Sail ye so da from rain so la boo so go do go do. So go down so fucking getting shy. Now that's hard to pitch. Bine soda sono so fat, fina soda soda soda, do soda 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 photo soda, bine don't say that for. So we're using a little bit of what we would call, I guess it's the tritone of the 5 chord, which is the G, altered sound. We're going to imply, instead of going E flat minor to A flat altered, back down to the C sharp or the D flat major, we're going to be going E flat minor, D7 down to the D flat major. So what I'm trying to say is E flat, E flat, sol do sol fa de sol sa si da sol ro. Hear what I'm doing? E flat, G flat, B flat, D flat, D natural, F sharp, A natural, C natural, C sharp, F natural, A flat, C. So I'll do it again. Sol, do, sol, sa, fa, de, sol, fa, do, sol, fo. Add the 9th to it. Si, da, sol, fa, ba, low, sol, bo. So, you know that's the chord because it's the C sharp. And then you're just going to go 1 half step up to the D. So, I'll stop being such a dickhead teacher and trying to teach everything. I'll just do a couple of choruses of it just so you can hear what I'm actually getting at. You'll hear elements of that going on. See that song from fucking gold. Sa-fa, ficken go, super vine. C'est fait for Saturday, Sunday down for the papa from shaded up. Suli doom boom boodai, boom got on for the pepper, but boom blue, say doom good little life, it is I doom boodai. Sulu dolly doodle doodle, goes off, that is say doom good day. I mean, what am I doing? I need to learn how to bloody sing in tune. Something bo, soon go, loving bo, second guess, second go, lord. So fucking bo, second go, loud, so loud, soon bo, doom, boo, little. So loot on any light, you can boo, boo, batty, boo, can go home from Bobby, you can go, you out and love. I mean, I'm singing an A, so long, so loot up, boo, you can go, boo, got it, which technically isn't part of the chord or the scale of bloody D half diminished. So what the hell am I doing? I'm making things that should be half diminished D minor 7, which is just not what it was. No one's really going to know on the gig. No one's going to care. But some father did do the double do betting that ain't that do some papa any boo sucking goo can go that bop boo boo that you can go to the bottle soft and bob boo boo vanny boo pop and bo so do any that bar penny little that boo betty bo do go da so go some bo say it for off it boo can get boo betty little ya boo son betty little boo bo so dog boo look go silly dep bow shoot song bow boom go sick got a very little lady do the line booty bitty dip booty bitty lap booty bitty up bomb I said bump booty up don't out so little day some boat do lady go little that do body type. Do body for some bog go lead and go so do bog and go body for some body be low song fly do go lead Beauty and the Beast. You got to get that kind of stuff going on also in your melodies where you don't go sibba or sabba. You just go suvadu sabba. Change the order of stuff. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. You can do it through any scale. Beauty and Beauty and the Beast and Beauty and the Beast and Beauty and the Beast. Beauty, Beauty and the Beast. Sadder, 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 sadder. Hard to sing. Let's do it the other way around, where you start on the low and you're going down a descending sort of pattern, but then you do every second note in the diminished blues scale. So we go C, E flat, B flat, D flat, A natural, C, G natural, B flat, F sharp, A, E, G, E flat, F sharp, C sharp, E, C. You know what I'm trying to say? Use that sort of stuff if you want. I'll start off. No, it's a minor. Now what am I doing there? That's a minor. I'm going on the ba. That's an F minor. So I start on the ninth, which is G, sa. I go up to the minor third, which is A flat, sa, and then I sing an E natural, sa and sa. Then I go back up to the ninth, sa, and then I go to F, sa and sa and sa. So it's kind of like giving the impression that we're going to go into F, but it's not starting on F. It's starting away from F. It's going a little bit away further from F. Then it's going below F, and then it's going back to F. And what that does is create some sort of like, exactly, major 7 on a minor chord. Simple stuff. Your checkpoint is your tonic. If you're singing natural 9s, you know that it's literally just the note a whole tone above the tonic. It's real simple. Say, octave above, ah, say. Ninth is ah, sa. Of course, the minor 10th, ah, de, ah, ah, A flat, F. Back to the normal thing, the blowing. So you can hear that I'm implying from the start, going from C to the F chord, C minor to F chord. I do that kind of altered sound before I hit the F chord. That's just a nice vibe because you've got that minor third going. It also happens in a minor blues or any kind of turnaround that's going on like that. You can employ that sort of thing. Some bass, some da, food, level, sa, fa, da, su, let sa. Beans, that invaded, go so, ka, fa, da, va, nu, ba, nu. What did I do there? So, no, sa, fa, da, fa, da. Sain is so, da, boom, bo, so, bam. De, sa, de, sa, so, fa, da, fa, da. So I'm starting on the minor third, which is actually the sharp 9. Set up, I'm going down to the flat 9. I'm going up to the flat 5, which is also the sharp 11. And I'm going back down to the tonic via the scale, which is the diminished blues scale. B flat, A flat, D flat, B natural, B flat, A flat, G at speed. Say they do this so boom ba looking up, see that him so don't suffer they do so looking go some photo suffer. Beauty and the Beast, remember that? Let's just do some blue cantrill. Now, I used to hate that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, the jazz lick? I hate that. But there's a reason that came about. Saint awful sap. And it's this. When it goes from Saint awful fat, food off is sap, suit awful sap, suit awful sap. So what you got is you got a full arpeggio that goes all the way up to the tonic, C da da da, and then you do a minor major 7 arpeggio, su, da, se, se. And then you do a normal, natural minor 7 arpeggio, su, da, se, se. And then of course you're on the 5 chord, which is an A flat 5 chord by now. Su, da, se, se. And I'm going to imply now a major 9. Da. Now that's not the tonic note. Sing do do bo do 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 ba sum bo so fa fum bo so fa fum so fo fa sum so fo fa sum da fum de da da do some de, which is E flat, A F, A flat, C, C sharp. You know what I'm saying? That's just an inversion of a major 9 chord. How did I get my singing chops? Well, I transferred what I understood about music theory and what I understood about things that I'd played, learnt and listened to with other vocalists and on piano and other instruments. And I practiced, and I didn't get lessons, I just practiced, and that's why I really don't consider that I know what the hell I'm doing. But I guess the reason I make these videos is because I want to sit in my car and enjoy the air conditioning, but I also do I have perfect pitch? I don't really think I do. I would call what I have imperfect pitch. I almost have perfect pitch, and I often do, but I often get it wrong. And things throw me off. Things that throw me off are doing whole gigs, playing guitar in E flat where we tune everything down, and then suddenly I've sort of reset that, and because we're playing shapes which you've sort of associated mentally with E, but you're actually in concert E flat. And so it sort of messes you up. And then of course when I play the same gig playing keyboards, I've got to play everything. I don't transpose on keyboard, and so then I get confused because the other guys are playing in E flat shapes and I'm playing in concert shapes, and it stuffs me up. So anyway, by the end of those sort of gigs I'm so confused. There, see there. Can someone help me? Is that a C still? I've gone off that, haven't I? Is that C? I've been trying to stay with that. There, see there. Some love for the food, you know, load and soak and go. But I'm getting sick and go, but in the boot, got it all. Bunny, baby, can get the boot and go. Some fa-ba-da-fa-ba-doop. Bunny, say that I will do. Some ba-fa-doop, the boot and go soup and baby, da-da-da-da. Z-da, some da, z-da, fa-sa. That's quite a large F sharp diminished 7th arpeggio, su da son da su da fa sa, ending on the E flat. Sa fa se fe ba fum sa fu lo lo de si la, si da de do lo lo si da fe de, si de wa la fi si si fi si ba de le. That's another little vibe. B flat, B, D, D flat, C. So what I'm doing, I'm going to end up on the C. See how I'm kind of going away, but I'm kind of going near it, but then I go away from it, above it. So I'm employing a bit of below and above before I get to the thing. That's basically like, it's like sort of like tickling where you're going to end up, but then, you know, because you don't want to go straight in there and go straight in. You want to kind of like give a preview, you know, before giving everybody what's really the strong part of the, you know what I'm trying to say. Is what I really wanted to sing. I wanted to sing the D, not the E flat. There for the song, saying Lord and song bow. Then say that it's all on the F sharp. This is da do da mi da. Boo da da do da do. This say they didn't go. Some da fe do say the sa fe de. Say do da sa do go sa da do sa ve do go su ga do su say da. Dum da do some so far off later so very little low so go go say it da do so go say it da do so go say do sa say do da so do they can go so do they go so go ba de fanning go bound for some far go to sa do so do go to see Lord do Lord so go bunny ready go for suit off it can get to live a suit for some better we can go sa for the now that of course is just a run from it's implying a C 7 with a flat 9, and of course the scale we would play over that is the diminished blues scale, and I start on the F sharp, so it's ba. Now what is the tritone of C? It's F sharp, which is where I need to B, but it's of course the octave above that, so it's sa, se, ah, eh, ah, 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 or la da 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 la, or se de de la, you know, the blue note. C, sa fa da so la do de do da do da do da da de da de do da sa set up sa fu certain de. Now sometimes on the 2 chord, before I go back to the G7, which is of course the 5 chord of the whole song, I imply a D7 instead of a D half diminished chord. Now you can do this in a lot of cases in any jazz chord progression. A lot of standards allow you to do this. I'll try and imply it a little bit more in this pass. Say the soul, the love for them, self for you did out. Say this side, so for the food, do day. I'll do it again. See the soul, balls, do that, boo, solo, do that. Suffer, say that, do ba do. Now you can hear that F sharp in it. That's the biggest change because you're going from a D half diminished, which is ba bo so te, to D sa do so. I'll do it again. Now, when you're doing a thing like a D7 chord, well, you got a couple of cool other notes, upper extensions you can get to. You can hit the E, which is of course the 9. If you want to get really tasty, you can definitely hit the B, natural, which is of course the 13. C, I'll go down. Da, da, se, a, li, ba, da, which is the 7th, which is the C, a, which is the F sharp, B, say di so di da bu do ba so go do so sa for so far da for do si sing da so on bottom sook ba fidel blue dog so on si si di somebody didn't let daddy do van open both little do that. Now I sang it all out of tune, but what I was trying to do is start something on the A. So what we're doing there is going A, D, A, G, F sharp, G, A, B, B, A flat, G, A flat, B, That time again. Say be do the side bo do ba so go. Which is of course C, A flat, C, A and G. Which is of course part of the scale of C melodic minor. C da do da 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 sa da. Another thing that I think that I should talk about is the importance of the guide tones, the thirds and the sevenths. Now we all learn this when we're doing study. We learn that it's very important to imply the tonic by either playing it or having it there. But some of the most other important notes that you can think of when you're defining any of the harmony, believe it or not, are not the fifth. It's actually the third and the seventh. Now what kind of third does the chord have and what kind of seventh does the chord have? Now it can have any combination. If it's got a major third and it's got a flat 7, of course it's going to be a dominant 7 chord. If it's got a flat third and a flat 7, it's going to be of course a minor 7th chord. Now if it's got a minor third and a major 7, of course it's going to be a minor major 7. If it's got a major third and a major 7, of course it's going to be called a major 7. What I mean is sa, si, sa, da, se is a major 7. You don't even need to know that la is the 5th. You just need to do those. Now let's put sa, sa, which is me singing that in an inversion of itself. So la, da, major third, major 7, C, B, E. So all I'm doing is swapping that third and I'm sticking it up the octave. Sa, da, da. Now if I went and wanted to flatten that 7th, of course I'd go C, da, se. Now what if I want to put that E, which is the major third, and I want to stick that up the octave, I'd go sa, se, up. So now we've got a different inversion of the tonic, la, the 7th, and the 3rd. Now when we want to talk about the minor 7th, of course we're going to have a minor 3rd and we're going to have a flat 7th. So let's go tonic, which is C, C, E flat, B flat. Now let's stick the E flat up the octave. Se, up. Now let's do, of course, the last one, which is going to be F, which is a major 7th and a minor 3rd. La, up. Now, in a lot of cases, maybe if you were singing or playing that in your left hand on a piano or something like that, you might actually not sing the major 7. You might sing an A and the minor 3rd instead of the B. I don't know why, but maybe it's just because they're further away. That's kind of, to me, implying a minor 6-9 chord is what we'd call it, which of course would be la, la, so la, which is the 9th, and then you go E flat, A, D. You know what I'm saying? Why do you need to know this? You bloody don't. Who cares? I don't even know why I care. No, I'm not going to get down on myself. I'm going to keep going. This is really fun. I've still got some fuel in the car, don't I? Yep. We're all good. Lots of play with the thirds. Oh, I stuffed that up. Now we're going to do the same thing in the E flat. So no, da is an A flat. And we're going G flat, A natural, do, da, de, da, so, da, bo. So we're going from the third to the fifth, so, da, go, soon. You can keep that the same for the D half diminished chord, which is the G chord. So we got G. Now we're going to go for the seventh, stop, and then we're going to play the A flat, which is the flat 9 of G. So, go, so. Something else, but let and see the soup and go. So let and get suit up and bo, suit up and bo, suit up and de, suit up and do, suit up and boo, suit up and de, suit up and do, suit up and be, do up and be, do up and ba, suit up and ba, suit up and get, suit up and bo, suit up and be. You know what I'm doing there? Haven't talked about this, but I haven't talked about the idea of, instead of going to the G chord, doing the tritone substitution of that. So now I'm going to talk about, before we go back to the last chord, right in the turnaround, before we go right back to the start of the form, we're going to imply, and now these have the same notes in the scales. If you're playing a G altered scale, which of course we know is a G sharp melodic minor scale, so da, se, so it's very whole tone like in a way. It goes da da de da de da da da. Hear that whole tone-ness of the last bit of the scale before we get back to the tonic. Su da de da de da de da. Now we all know, of course, that on any altered sound you can always just take the tonic and then take the scale of the flat 9 of that and then play the same notes of that flat 9 melodic minor scale. So what I'm trying to say, on a G altered sound, which is da, ah, eh, ah, eh. Got that? The old Hendrix chord. Da, ah, 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 ah. The notes that go behind that are G, A flat, B flat, B, D flat, E flat, F, G. Now if we look at the A flat melodic minor scale, it's the same notes, which is A flat, B flat, B, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, zo da 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 da, or la da 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 da. Same notes. Now what other thing can we do? We can chuck in a D flat in the bass line and use the same notes, and we're going to get a Lydian dominant. So the same notes that are in the G altered chord scale are the same as an A flat melodic minor scale. So we can get chords such as an A flat minor major 7, minor third major 7, and we can also get a D flat 7 with a sharp 11. Now of course in that, the sharp 11 of D flat of course is G natural. So si da 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 di da bossa ah yeah ah do da 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 sa da 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 da. Jeez, that's quite hard. Same notes as da. Now that is G. If we go to D flat and we do the Lydian dominant scale of that, it's the same notes in that same family of notes. Exactly the same notes. They all work. You can have any of those 3 chords that I just talked about before, the A flat minor major 7 and the G altered and a certain type of D flat, which of course has the sharp 11. Si da de da do de so da, si da do so se se do so do li de, No. Lydian dominant. Yeah. You are exactly right. João Gilberto chord from Ipanema. Da. Tonen ten laden så som du ser det solen upp där suffering ser suffering där little sa du da la da da la da da say do da do na say do da do la da da sa do da sa do da say do so do da do some falset soon dog so fat that ain't so sad did that so don't so da. You know what I mean? I think that's all I got in me right now. I'll leave you with this. How the hell would I have any inspiration after singing all of that? It'd be bloody hard. Not only that, I've run out of water. I've only got that left. And I think my costochondritis is coming back. You shouldn't be singing in a restricted area like this, but I am. Suffer du sol du sa bungo. No så du säger det låten på. But we're gonna sing like little days so do. But by the day, but do ba. Du say do ba do anything. So don't say do sa, but do so day. Dum do da. So golden setting lady so do. But they do Don't for heaven, Lord, and I do so do say there, so there, some fed, so fed, as to load up. But for the pursuit and said, but for the side and say, Sabon, so do say, do I do day. Boom, so do slide, do and so. Simbu bap, diddly dap, soon do some tied up and boot up, soon do that, toodle bap, soon don't pump it up. Dotten te bon so do that. They say they do. But do papa sue, some button we can go to banit and do that. But do something body both to do bad. Do like dollars on it. But on so the fire to soft fine, but so fed. Sister can give a gobbin, but some daddy we can go. So that do bump, do bump, do bop. Boom, boo, button, but some daddy we can go. Soon, bop, boo down. Na boo 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 betting we can go. Bop, baby, do bow, bow, boo, day. Doom bar so far, bar so low. By the side it, by the side it, bow that little that boo banny bar loaded, baby bowl, beside any boo bowl, low, some baloo diddy diving, load less and load it, boom load up and dot up. But Lord don't survive it is in the bottle to die. Foppen, soppen, doppen, soppen, day, lotten, dessen da, dossen da, bunny very little, zicken couple. Boom got up and boo ba up and boo ba let it do boo ba dee boo 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 let it do there. Doodle banana, dog boo banana, boo banana, you can go for save it, boo basabu, then lead you and dead, boo at that boo all, boo ready to day, boo dog, bop, boo baddy bear. Boom, bo, sub, bo, sap, up, boo, sit and go, shoot, boom, boo, boo, see, leave it, bobbing. Z da dee dee da so za do za do so fu za da so can get do da. Now I'm going to imply the E minor 7. Say do so up, si da so up, si da so up, si da so up, su da so fa da so, su da so sa fa. Su da su de da da se de la se de su da su ba nu ba ni lu lu so ba fu so la ba ba du so du di di bu du bi di bu du ba 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 bu du ba nu ba sum ba 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 se ba nu so. Sai buru banu banu sari so ba buru ba chu ba so ba fa ba da ba da su buddha. You know what I mean? Bu som pom fom fa fa da fom da bu gu so le li du va nu su. Se de de da fi di sa. Some babu go so level me no la li do pam didn't but it all this and but don't throw that but do do boss for the light of the sabody boarding up. I didn't know what that was. Boom got a body boom go so body boom go pop boss some boss to lose it and sit there so far for B D A D G. I sang that and told you what the notes are because I stuffed it up. So fa fo, so fa fo, not easy to sing. So fa fo, sa, so fa fo, but so ba for you can go back to Bob and it and do better. Sing some Lydian. Well, the Lydian major scale goes like this: so da di sa do so de da. Su-da-dee-da-do-da-da-da, so-da-da-da. It's just got the major. It's just like a major scale, but it's just got a sharpened 4. We all know that. Si-da-si-sa-do-do-so-da. Bongo sombo sa-fo-da do-le-do-do-do-day. So-la-do-ba-dee-ba-doo-ba-ba-dee-ba-dee-zi-do. Now, would you go so da de da de si da so da sa de de si da? Technically, you would. So da de da de si da so da de da de si da so da do da de si da so da da de si da so da da de si do ba ba de da de do. Now, for some reason there. I kind of like doing the natural 4 on the C sharp. Instead of the Lydian. See, because any major 7th, you do have a choice. You can actually sing just the Ionian or diatonic scale over it. Or you can sing a Lydian over it, and they both work. Few more choruses. Soon got love up, doodle up, sloodle up, soodle up, settle up, soodle up, doodle up, soon go up, and saddle doodle down. Boom bom bo sum go sap lane lidum bo sam do sap doodle sun do sap fap do it to that do Or zoom and find a fat. You know what I mean? You can also do those sort of things. Zoom down on sap. Or Dane son of sap. But a saint of sop. Da son of sap. Da son of sap. Bana son of pep. Lord son of sap. Lord son of sap. Lord son of sap. Batty do some puff on sap. Circle go. Sap. Fat suit. Circle go. Circle go. Circle go. Circle go. Circle go. Doodle circle go. Line related up. Bookin' go on side. Bo do go pop. Baby, you can go by the you can go by in the soon buff. A sabada, sup, that's true, that you do that. Da da, booty, baby, can go by the button. Diving in the second go, boom, go. Boom, boom. I'll do that again because it's so high up in my register. There's a difference between that and who knows what it is. And Bombo so so got the little booty some dap bap some bap boom baba do for you but running for fiber and boom but up the seven of baba lady do body get up and do da do blue boss and not solar, but I like solar. Very similar in a lot of ways, guys. Now what did I do there? Sa. That's the chord. Suda. That's of course D flat major. Somebody. Somebody. Whoop. It's a major 7. What note is it? It's an A. Are. Sunda se sare. Dun so whatever do some separe. So little. Now what I'm doing there is I want to end up on the 6th or the 13th of a major 7. Some day up the octave. C A B flat C so it is like Chet Baker. It's a very vintage little turn of phrase. To Ludover body so go dog no live service ever go to the wedding go soon look budo bump on out on that field sail you up baba so low ball low da boom body that boom go pop say that you suffer bad. I mean, you've heard that a billion times. It's like somebody push you in Bordeaux, or you know, the lick. Up and boat up, seal you do. Seven bottom boots, that's a cool vibe. It's like a Freddie Hubbard sort of inspired hitting the top vibe, go straight to the top fifth. Say there's something better, something faster, do-do-do-do-do-do. Soon go off and do, soon go off and do, soon go rest and do. So bo do bo do do, bum bop do that. Say they be it, bo do they say that do do. Soon go from that on a so do da be that. Do da do da, still do do do. So don't bo from the sit they be do sit and go soon bo bo da. Boom go to ba ba baby do bo do go up. So ba do up, so ba do up. Oh man. See ba fat so fee ba and say ba ba. I mean, this is stuff on a saxophone. Ba but I mean, it'd be kind of easier to do because you wouldn't have to bloody work out how to get in the cracks of the glissandi of the way that the vocal works. That's the problem. It's the best and the worst thing about being a singer. Second half. Fun abu say benny bottom roll something there. Just did it again. Phone gonna start blue day. But so can go whatever you can got to leave it, you can cotton baby, you can cotton baby, you can poppin' baby, you can poppin' boo, sappin' bubba doo, and poppin' baba doo, and taffy. Now this is more technical stuff. This is not stuff that you really like talking about in terms of harmony. You're just working out little rhythmic patterns that might be something that you throw in. Sabba-doop, poppin' babba-doop, poppin' baby-doop, coppin' baby-doop, poppin' babba-doop, poppy-doop. That's a dagga-dagga, 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 dagga-dagga. So, you know, you're sort of talking groupings of 6, I think. Yeah, that's what you're doing, which gives you a sort of 2 against 3 half-time thing. I'll do that again. 7 baby doop and poppin' baby doop and poppin' doop and poppin' baby doop and poppin' baby doop and poppin' doop and poppin' baby doop and poppin' baby doop and poppin' doop and poppin' baby doop and poppin' baby doop and poppin' doop and. What I really would have been doing if I knew how to sing in tune was would have gone 7 dabba doop and poppin' dabba doop and babba doop and second dabba doop and poppin' babba doop and poppin' doop and poppin' daddy soup and coppin' dabba doop so poppin' doop so 7 dabba doop and poppin' dabba doop and poppin' doop so. You know how long that's going to take for me to bloody learn? Quite some time. Sappin' dabba doop and poppin' babba doop and poppin' doop and poppin' dabba doop and poppin' babba doop and poppin' doop and poppin' babba doop and poppin' bop 7 babba sitting daddy sup and poppin' babba doop and poppin' doop and poppin' dabba doop and poppin' dabba doop and poppin' doop sup. You're out of breath. Not easy. Sappin' dappin'. Soppin' babby doop and poppin' babby doop and poppy doop and poppin' babby doop and poppin' babby doop and poppy doop and poppin' babby doop and poppin' babby doop and poppy doop and poppin' babby doop and poppin' babby doop and poppy doop say. You know what I'm finding hardest is hitting that G. Bop, 7 baby doop bop. Impossible. Should I give up? Soppy doop and poppin' babby doop and poppin' babby doop and poppin' babby. I went early to the F. Now that's another thing that I learned from a guy called Paul McNamara, a great piano teacher. Sometimes it's good to imply the next chord coming up, because as we know, chords are not, well, the phrase chord progression is all about the motion of the chords. So we can actually imply that a lot with what we're doing. Say never go early. Nah, sometimes it is good to go early. Just depends whether you want the top layer of the rock, You know what I mean? We're talking layers of the earth. You can create a nice Grand Canyon vibe if you seismically move those tectonic plates of the melody against what's going on at different times. It's almost like a slightly more macroed version of tension and release. Bobby-doopin', bobby-doopin', boppin', bobby-doopin', boppin', bop. Okay, I'll do it. Soppy-doopin', boppin', bobby-doopin', bobby-doopin', boppin', boppin', bobby-doopin', boppin', bobby-doopin', bobby-doopin', boppin', bobby-doopin', boppin', bobby-doopin', bobby-doopin', boppin', bobby-doopin', boppin', bobby-doopin', bobby-doopin'. Now I'll go early. Boppin' bobby-doopin', 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 body-bop-be-doopin', boppin' boo-body-body-be-doopin', boopin' boop. So-so-doopin', bop-boopin' bop, soppin' bobby-doopin', boop, little-loop-a-doopin', bobby-doop-a-doopin', big bow-loopin', boppin' bobby-doopin', boopity-soopin', body-doopin', boot-up. Boom-loop-do-loop-boom-sip-da-doop. I mean, need to learn to sing that. You wouldn't do that, would you? Too busted up, too stated, too ta-ti-ti-ti-ti-ti-ti-ti-ti-ta. Subi-sup and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The old Kurt Elling. Boodle-loop, boodle. Funny thing is, you can get the syllables for a certain part in your range, but as soon as you go to a higher or lower part of your range, the same syllables will not give you that control in terms of getting it right. It's just trial and error. Everyone's voice is different. Your instrument's in your body. You're going to have to work out how you do it. I liked doing that when I was leg slapping. I was digging it. I was slapping on the notes, not on the offbeats. Everyone's always like, "Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4." I'm probably the first guy to say this. Of course, I understand when you're doing the swing thing that 1, 2, 3, 4. We always pay out the person that counts the thing in when they count on, like, "Come on, guys, 1, 2, 3, 4." I want to be the first guy to say this 2, 3, 4 can be fucking groovy. Anyway, we're not doing that. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. But, of course, I'm not implying that this has got swung rhythm. In the tradition of this tune, it's always a Latin tune. So, what I liked when I was doing this was I could add more of a rhythmic approach instead of thinking, like when that was there, I was sort of thinking, well, I can't stop that rhythm. I've got to keep that going and see what comes out. I spent a long time on this live video talking more about the relationship of the chords and the scales and what sort of theoretical elements go, and some of those sort of ideas in a more melodic, linear sense. If you move on to this in a more rhythmic sense, suddenly, and this came out of me doing the boppin' bobby-doopin', boppin' bobby-doopin', bobby-doopin', boppin' bobby-doopin', boppin' bobby-doopin', bop, boppin' bobby-doopin', boppin' bop, doo-ba-dee-dup, bom-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-dup, bop-bop-bop, ba-doo-bop, ba-dee-soup-doo-doo-dup, ba-da, bum-ba-da-dee-so, ba-doo-boo-da-ba-bam, ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba, bum-da-da-da-sip, ba-dee-so-doo, ba-dee-so-da-doo-doo-doo-dop, ba-doo-bop, boom-ba-da-ba, loo-la-ba-doo-bop-doo-da-dop, so-do-da-doo-doo-bo-dop, ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-doo-so-doo-doo-doo, fa-fa-fa-doo-doo-doo-doo, lip-boo-dop, don't let it do-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, so-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, say that bob doodle bep bunny be doo bop doo doo da bob boo ba-da-da-da, bop, da-da-da-da. Bam de sudden bit, but even that's it, da-da-da, bop, bop, boom, boom, low, ba-ba-doo-ba-doo, bowl up. Boom, da-da, bowl up, bowl up, bowl up, ba-da, bowl up, ba-da, ba-doo-da-da-da-da, bowl up. Ba-doom, da-doom, 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 da-da-dee-dee-doo, bop, ba-da-bum, ba-ba-doom, bop, ba-ba-doom, bop, da-da-doom, da-da. Bum, bop, ba-da-ba-doom, boo-ba-dee-bum, bum, bum, la-da-da-da-doo, ba-dee-bum, ba-ba-doom, bum, say-doo-doo-ba-doom, bum, bop, ba-loom, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, that is so for today. Bum. Sa-da-ba-doom, bo-zoom, bop, do-doo-dum, da-da, 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 ba-da, da-da, do-doo-dum, diddle-doo-dum, boom, boom, dum, zoom-doo-dum, boom, boom, fop, the pop, do-dee-dee-da-sa, do-dee-dee-da-la, do-dee-dee-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom ba da doo doo boom boom ba da doo boo da boom boom ba boom da boom ba ba boom boom ba 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 da doo da doo boom ga da ba da doo doo boom ba. Here we go. Doo doo ba doo doo ba doo doo ba boom. Bit of James Bond. Doo 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 bo loo some da fa da doo da. Ba-da-ba-doom, boom-bit-liddy-doo-boom, da-doo-liddy-boom, bop-boom, ba-doo-ba-dee-ba-doom, boom-da-doo-da-fa-dee-ba-boom-doo, sit-da-da-ba-da-doo-da-doo, ba-dee-doo-da-doo, ba-dee-doo-da-da-doom-da-dee. Bam-ba, dum-ba-dum-ba, dum-dum-dum-de, dum-ba-de-doo-dum-da-dum-de, dum-dum-ba, dum-dum-dum-ba, dum-dum-dum-de, dum-dum-dum-ba-dum-de-de-de-de-de-de, bum-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 da doo da ba doo ba la ba doo ba ba dee da doo doo ba dee ba da boom ba da la da ba ba doo ba doo ba ba doo ba doo ba ba doo boom doo ba doo boo ba doo ba doo ba doo ba doo ba ba doo ba doo da dee da. Bum boo ba da ba diddle dee boom ga doo boom ga doo ba ba doo ba doo ba sa doo doo da so bo fa fa fe doo so da 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 dum 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 lo doo doo da boom bum da 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 some fa da fi da fu da dee da doo da dee da doo doo bum boo da diddle da soon good. Here we go. Seven baba doo bop babby doo bop ba doo bop babby doo bop bop baby doo bop babby doo bop bop doo ba doo so very doo huh so da babby doo doo bop boo lom bo babby doo doo bo da doo don't do that do that bye day day da da da. And that's Blue Bossa. Just the way that I look at it, some ways that I get around it, and there's a lot of other people out there if you want to hear great recordings of it. I'd be interested to hear which ones you guys know. I don't know that many of them, but I have heard quite a few. I just can't think of one right now. I'll do that in another post. Maybe I'll go and find some of the most definitive versions of it. But you guys have been cool. Thank you so much for listening. That was a really, really good practice session. And I'm always happy. Yeah, Dexter Gordon. I mean, talk about a groove, talk about a sound. What about his version of Hang, I Guess I'll Hang My Tears Out to Dry? I think it's on the album Go. Is it? I think it is. Man, he ends one of the solos with kills me. I'll catch you guys soon on the gram, and hope you got something out of that, and I hope to jam, play, do a gig with you guys at some point in the future. Lots of love and enjoy it. Stay creative. and I'll catch you soon.